Peace. This is Anpu with another video on Question Everything. This will be video number 12 under the segment of Question Everything. This segment we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, shadow beings. That's right, shadow beings. And forgive me if I look all crazy. It's early in the morning. I just woke up, just had my cup of coffee. I was just journeying through the realms, and had some crazy dreams. Like I said, I dream every day, and didn't get to write it down yet, but I will. I'll get to that. I just want to put out this information about the shadow beings, the jinns, the dark brothers. When I first started doing these YouTube videos, about my astral travel, when you start, looking back at my old videos, you start seeing that, that was the main thing I was speaking about when dealing with astral traveling, was the shadow beings. And I know pretty sure that, people that know me for many years and hearing me seeing me making these videos and hearing me speaking about shadow beings and shit, they were like, man, he done lost his mind. Man, Freddie went crazy. I know, because when I was experiencing these events, I also too thought I was losing my damn mind. Honestly, I thought I was going crazy. And so shadow beings, also known as the jinns, sometimes they call the archons, sometimes they call demons. There's so many names, man. There's so many names. Let me try to fix his red so I can get some good lighting. There's so many names dealing with this ancient beings. I pulled up some articles and I want to go in depth with this information, because, some people, they have experiences with a lot of different entities in these multi-dimensions. Okay. And, you hear, I've had experience with the god Ogun. I spoke about this in my actual traveling videos. The god Ogun, I had no knowledge of this entity. And sure enough, this entity came to me in the astral realm and let it be known that they exist. And when I came out the astral realm and, spoke to my friend, she knew who Ogun was and even had a book on Orisha, which is an old religion tradition, an ancient religion tradition. And, so a lot of people have many different experiences with certain entities. Some people might try to knock it. Oh, here you go, talking about the shadow beings again. But, this is my experience. This is what I experienced. And I would just want to bring this type of information to light for those that have no knowledge upon it. Even people have, experiences with Papa Legba and, Oshun, all the other entities, So me, I didn't have that many experiences with these other entities, but this one particular group of entities I've had. So, on the other note, like I said, I pull up some articles that I like to read. I like to break down the history of it and just educate yourself pretty much, because this is a very, very deep topic to touch on. And when I was the only time I dealt with these shadow beings is when I was astral traveling. So this shows you that these beings exist within the hidden realms. Now, I'm pretty sure, let me ask the audience out there, I'm pretty sure most of you had experienced shadow beings. Most of you had experienced someone is watching you in your room, and it's a very uncomfortable feeling. Some of you had experience of seeing something in the corner of your eye, and you look and you see something zip away. That's pretty much a shadow being. Some of you, had the same type of experiences I had when astral traveling and dealing with these entities. And trust me, these entities they're not fun to deal with. But let me get into the information. You see, the thing is that, yes, they exist mainly on certain dimensions, right? Some people like to call it the lower dimensions. Yeah, I could say that because they do exist in this dimension right now, and they probably are around right now, upset. They upset that I'm putting this information out, because that is the key of handling these negative entities, man, is exposing them. That's the most powerful thing you can do, is to expose them, because they like to be hidden. They like to be they don't want to be known. They don't want to be known. They like to be hidden so they can continue with their agenda. And ladies and gentlemen, what their agenda is, they're like vampires, right? Now, this is the whole term vampire come from. When you break down the word vampire, vamp means to feed, pyre means fire. So they feed off your fire. They feed off your light, because we are light beings, right? Your spirit and your soul is energy, like I spoke about before, and it's light. So this is what they feed off of. We get our energy also from light, which is the sun. If that sun wasn't there, we wouldn't be getting energy. And of course, the foods that we eat, the plant-based foods also has, energy from the light. Even animals, we eat animals as well, which feed off of plants. So somewhat we getting energy off of light, which is basically calories. How many calories you intaking. And then when you really look deep into calories, you're dealing with electricity, energy, light. So they not so different than us. That's one thing I want to point out too. They not so different than us. You have good ones and you have bad ones. Some have some have good agendas and some have bad agendas. And I had experienced both. I experienced shadow beings that were very negative, and then I experienced some shadow beings that wasn't so bad. But if you've been watching my astral traveling videos, I suggest you to watch them, and you can learn from them. I gave some good key points, and then I just spoke on my experiences with these entities. So when you start awakening and you start gaining your power back, and you start having these experiences, then you could be like, okay, I know what to do. You see, I didn't have that. I didn't have nobody teaching me what to do under these circumstances. I was going through them and then researching this stuff on my own, and I was just learning during the way. And I was also getting help from people leaving comments as well. So let me go through the history of it, all right? So I got this, like I said, I pulled up some articles, so I'm going to be reading from them. So if you see me like looking away from the camera, it's just that I'm trying to record at the same time and read this article. So throughout this article is an Islamic article. It's an Islamic religion article that's based on the jinns. Okay, like I spoke in my past videos, the jinns are also mentioned. Well, the word jinn really come from the word genie, right? And that's why I always tell people, like, pay attention to movies, pay attention to cartoons. You see what I'm saying? So when you think back in Aladdin with the genie, right? Now you see that the the villain in that cartoon, he knew the knowledge of that lamp. And that's the thing. The genie was trapped in this lamp. The genie was trapped in this lamp for a reason, and not to be released, because they knew his power and his capability. And if and the power and capabilities in the wrong hands, it could be, devastating. So this is pretty much what the cartoon Aladdin was speaking about, because the word jinn ties in with the word genie. And everybody knows that genies have certain powers. They can grant you wishes if you release them from their prison and you become their master, pretty much. And the word jinn, is the first jinn really seen in the book, the Quran. So I have a Quran. I have the Quran. Like I said before, I have these books. Peace to my friend Ka, my man Khalid. He gave me this book because, like I said, at that time I was soul searching, and he's a Muslim. And one day I asked him, like, yo, if you can, give me a Quran, that has the translation from English to Arabic. So it's also it's mentioned in the Quran. So let me go into this article. This article is from, an Islamic article speaking about the jinn. So it says, throughout history, man has always had a deep attraction for the supernatural and the unseen. The existence of the world parallel to our own has always fascinated people. This world is commonly referred to as the spirit world. And like I said before, they exist in many dimensions. You yourself as a being, as a light being, have many dimensions. There's many different bodies that you have. You have the physical body, spirit body, astral body, psychic body. I can't think of the rest of them, but you have, your auras. You have many layers within you. So it's just like that within this planet and in this realm. There's many different dimensions. And they say that the jinns exist on the lower dimensions, which is true, because when I encounter these shadow beings, I call it the fourth dimension. Now, I've been to the fifth dimension, which is a higher dimension that's like heaven. And to me, that's the best way that I can explain it. And I've been there a couple of times. The third dimension is what we in right now, right? This is the third dimension, 3D. Now, they also exist on this realm as well, but we just cannot see them. And the reason why we can't see them, because these physical eyes can't see all rays of light. Now, there's like 12 strands of rays of light that exist in this third dimension, but we are only able to see like 3, right? Because we can't see, X-rays. We can't see the solar rays. We can't see infrared. We can't see these type of rays, but they exist. They are in our face, but we can't see these type of lights. So basically, like I said, we are light beings, and these are the different layers that this article was talking about, far as parallel worlds. And I said I've always had this experience with shadow beings on the fourth dimension, and like I always stated in my astral traveling videos, whenever I leave my consciousness leaves my physical body, the first realm that I'm in is the fourth dimension, and everything looks the same. And I always said that everything looks the same. My bedroom looks the same. Everything is at where it's stationed at. Everything looks the same. So that's the fourth dimension, and this is where they be chilling at. This is where they reside at. This is where you will find some shadow beings. And like I said, it said the existence of the world parallel to our own. So it's parallel to our world. So the third and fourth is parallel. This is why those dimensions don't look so different. But when you cross over into these dimensions, you'll start seeing some things that you didn't think that is there. Even though we in this third dimension now, it's around us right now as we speak. We just can't feel it. We can't touch it. We can't see it. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, because it does. Okay. Where was I? Okay, this world is commonly referred to as the spirit world, and almost every set of people have some concept of one. With some people, these spirits are no more than the souls of dead people or ghosts. With others, spirits are either the forces of good or the forces of evil, both battling against one another again to gain influence over humanity. And this is the battle. The battle is us, because we people. Y'all don't understand how strong we are, and this is the stage that we are in right now. We coming out of the sleep stage because we forgot how powerful we are. And then these higher beings that are so intelligent, they know that we are asleep because we were put under the spell. And through religion and stuff like that, we forgot who we were. So if you don't know who you are, you have other beings that's going to take advantage of that. So however, both of these explanations are more in tune with folktales and fantasy. The true explanation of such a world comes from Islam. Like every other way, Islam also claimed to explain this realm of the unseen. It is from this realm that Islam explains to use about the world of the jinn. The Islamic explanation of the jinn provides us with so many answers to modern day mysteries. And ladies and gentlemen, this is what I'm doing right now. I am exposing these mysteries. I'm exposing it. And the reason why I'm doing it, because I feel like I need to put this information out. And like I said, they don't like that. They like to be hidden. Is also, I'm sorry, I'm gonna keep moving this around, trying to get the right lighting. They, like they said, the greatest trick the devil pulled was to make people believe he don't exist. See, he wanted you to believe that he don't exist so he could keep doing what he's doing. And then exposing this type of information, the jinns don't like. That's like saying Johnny is a thief, right? Perfect example. Johnny's a thief, right? He's stealing from this person, stealing from that person, stealing from this person. But no one knows that Johnny's the thief. So therefore, he's in the hidden. He's hidden. And Johnny could be your friend. Johnny could be your relative. Johnny could be in a relationship with you. And you don't know, but he's stealing from you. So he's in the hidden. And he's playing that role. So now someone finds out about Johnny and they expose him, because his dark ways, which is stealing. So they bring his actions to light and say, hey, I know who's been stealing from us all this whole time. It was Johnny. Johnny's a thief. So now you expose Johnny. Guess what? You take Johnny's power away. So now Johnny can't be trusted. Now when you invite Johnny over your house, you're going to watch him with the corner of your eye. You know what I'm saying? So this is my example of bringing this type of information to light. And this is what the jinns don't like. They don't like this information to get out. They very mad at me right now. But you know what? I'm Anpu Ra, and they already know I'll kick their ass. But anyway, okay. So it is from the realm that Islam explained to us about the world of the jinn. The Islamic explanation of the jinn provides us with so many answers to modern day mysteries. Without the knowledge of this world, the Muslim will become like the non-Muslims and be running around looking for any old answers to come their way. That was me. I'm not Muslim, but I needed to find some answers. I needed to look for some answers because I was having these experiences and I was looking everywhere for some answers. So, and it's so funny that I had this Quran for so many years and didn't know that there was some information in this book dealing with what I was dealing with. So, so who or what are the jinn? The jinn are beings created with free will, just like us, living on earth in the world parallel to mankind. So when you watch, my actual traveling videos, and I'm speaking that I'm in a different realm, but everything looks the same, and I'm battling these shadow beings. You see, this type of information you come across, and you be like, oh, okay, Anpu ain't that crazy. Maybe he really is experiencing these things, And you see, people like you that has never experienced a shadow being, people like you that have no knowledge of this. You see, these jinns, they love people like you. Oh, they love people like you. They'll feast on you, just like a mosquito, right? If you sleeping and you don't know you got a mosquito in your room, guess what? You're just going to sleep all comfortable, not even thinking about that mosquito, because he's hitting under your bed. And then as soon as the lights go out, he's coming out to suck your blood. And that mosquito don't want you to know he's there, because of, you're going to kill it, pretty much. No one likes to sleep in a room with a mosquito. I mean, I know people had experience. I know I have. Had a mosquito hitting in my room. I wake up and mosquito bites on my legs and shit. So it's the same concept, man. They like people like you. They like souls like you. They don't want you to know they exist, so they can keep feeding off your force, your soul, your energy. All right. So like I said, they have free will. They in an earth parallel to us. Thus, they are physically invisible from man, as their description suggests. Invisible. This is what I was explaining. The only way you can really, really see these shadow beings is within the fourth dimension. So if you don't have that power to astral travel, you're not going to really see them. This invisibility is one of the reasons why some people have denied their existence. Okay? This is why people, some people out there would be like, this dude is crazy. He talking about shadow beings and shit. This dude is crazy. They say this because they never experienced it. But when you look up on YouTube or Google and research shadow beings and people's encounters with shadow beings, there's millions of people that had this experience. I'm not the only one. So, and it's in these religious books. It's also in the Bible. Okay? When the Bible is speaking about the 200 fallen angels and Satan, because that's what also the jinn, when you're dealing with the jinn in Islam, in Arabic, when they say that the jinn is negative, they call him shaitan. He is the title of shaitan. Shaitan is nothing but Satan. So when you read the story about Satan falling from heaven and he took his 200 fallen angels with him, that's the story of how the jinns became to existence. Well, not existence, but their agenda changed, and this is how they started feeding off of us, pretty much. And in the Quran, when you go to chapter 15, that's the thing about reading the Quran. It's very hard. Like you gotta read, from right to left. And the beginning of the book is the back of the book. The front of the book is the ending of the book. So, in the Quran, you go to chapter 15. I mean, I highlighted it because it's like, it was hard for me to find the information. It really was. You know what? I'm gonna find it later. In the Quran, thus the jinn was created before man. As for their physical origin, then the prophet, they may the mercy and blessings of God be upon him, has confirmed the above verse. When he said. So pretty much, when you go in the Quran, chapter 15, I think 15, verse 26, it's something like 26 to 27, is speaking about the jinn. Okay, and I just want to run down the story about the jinn. Also, like, I got my information from different, like articles, like I said, books, religious books, Quran, the Bible. If people are not familiar with Malachi Z. York, he has something called the Holy Tablets. He also goes, see, I like the Holy Tablets because he goes real in depth with the story, speaking about Iblis, and also the Quran speaks about Iblis. And basically the whole story is that, I spoke about this in my other past videos too. God, the creator, had made 3 creations, right? He made the angels. He made the angels out of light. And then he made the jinns out of smokeless fire. And then he made man out of clay. And basically, God was, when Iblis had found out, now Iblis is like the head jinn, right? This is your Satan, this is your devil within the Bible. Now, Iblis was the most brilliant, like on the Holy Tablets, they speak about the Anunnakis. I gotta make a video on the Anunnakis as well. He was the most beautiful Anunnaki. He was also the smartest one. He was brilliant. And when he found out that the creator, Anpu, this is Anpu when you're dealing with Anunnakis, he's the highest. He's like God, right? And when they found out that the God Anpu was going to create man, Iblis got upset. Now Iblis, like I said, he has followers because he's so smart and bright. It's like a gang. You get the strongest dude and he breaks away and like, yo, I'm starting my own thing. You're gonna have followers that's gonna follow him. It's gonna follow that entity. So basically, God wanted the angels as well as the jinns to bow down and give man, us humans, respect. So the angels don't have free will. The angels, whatever God says, they have to do. So when God said to bow down and praise man, they did. Now the jinns are like us. They have free will. So when God said, bow down and pay your respects to man, they refused. It was a big fight. And basically, the Iblis was like, I'm not bowing down to this. First of all, I was created way before him. Second of all, I am born of the sun cycle. I was created through smokeless fire. So he felt like I'm more powerful than this being that you created out of clay. So this was started the war between good and evil. This is the story. This story has been told so many different ways and so many times. So, of course, they were cast out of heaven. But where they were put, they were sent here on earth. So this is how we dealing with these jinns, because we dealing with these entities that were sent here, but they were put into a hidden realm so they wouldn't interfere with us. But they have power. They can still interfere with us even though they within a parallel universe, realm, dimension, whatever you want to call it. So that was the story that was in these holy books. It's in the Quran, it's in the Bible, and it's also in the holy tablets with Malachi Z. York, the Nuwapian, and basically, yeah. So that's pretty much like the history of it. Let's look at another article I have found speaking on the abilities. I'm might have to make a part 2 to this because this is a lot of information, but I want to get this out. I have to get this out. Abilities. That is which clearly distinguishes the jinn from mankind. They are their powers and abilities. God has given them these powers as a test for them. If they oppress others with them, then they will be held accountable. By knowing of their powers, we can often make sense of which of the mysteries which go on around us. One of the powers of the jinn is that they are able to take on any physical form they like. Yes, they do. Yes, they can. And I'm full proof of that because you know what? Because I had experienced it. Like I said, I experienced these jinns. I know their power. I've seen what they can do. They are very powerful, but people, you have to remember, you are more powerful than them. But if you don't know this, they're going to take advantage of you. And yes, I've been in the astral realm. I've seen them take forms of my loved ones right in front of my face. Right in front of my face. And, to confuse you. Like my last astral travel video, I spoke about it. The jinn took the form of, my girl. Right in front of my face. They can take many forms. So, thus, they can appear as humans, animals, trees, and anything else. The ability to possess and to take over the minds and bodies of other creations is also a power which the jinn has utilized greatly over the centuries. Possess. Right? Possession is very powerful. If you don't know what's going on, you have no knowledge of this, they can possess you. This is why in the Bible, in Genesis, the serpent, the serpent, when you break down the word in Hebrew, it really means the whisperer. So this is what these jinns can do within this third dimension. It can manipulate your thoughts. Sometimes you got to question your thoughts because you'll think it's you and it's not your thoughts. But they can whisper in your ear, they can whisper in your consciousness and put these thoughts in your mind to make you commit evil acts. Because like I said, they feed off of negativity. This is what they feed off of. Fear. Fear, is the main ingredient, is what they like to feed off of. They love to feed off of fear. Anger, jealousy, all the four devils you could think of, hatred, nervousness, all negative energy. Anything that's negative, this is what they feeding off of. They just souping it up. So possession, to be possessed. Human possession is something which always brought about great attention, but the true knowledge of the subject is rare. Over the last 3 decades, the subject of possession has become very commercialized. Let me scroll this up real quick. Okay. So during the 70s, films such as The Exodus, Rosemary's Baby were used to educate people about possession. However, because such institutions, the film industry, were heavily influenced by Christianity, knowledge of the subject which was non-existent. So basically, like they got their knowledge from Christianity. Now, when, like I stated before, when you go into Catholics, when you go into dealing with the Pope and the Vatican, they give classes in depth on this, on possession. They give classes in depth. Like it's actually a course that you have to take if you want to become this high priest. This is knowledge that you have to know. So what do you think? Who you think is doing this possession? They call it demons, but at the end of the day, it's the jinns, right? It's something that you can't see. And you got all these movies with possession and all that. And you gotta think about it. When you got certain events and in modern times when people were saying, oh, this voice in my head told me to do it, what do you think that is? You know, like I said, you have some powerful, you got some powerful jinns out there. They just like us, right? Some of us have certain abilities that others don't have, right? You have a weightlifter that can bench press 500 pounds, but then you got someone that can only bench press 100 pounds. You got someone like Michael Jordan, LeBron James that could play basketball phenomenal, and you have someone that could just play mediocre. You see what I'm saying? So there's different levels within dealing with abilities. You have some people that are extremely intelligent, and then you have some people that not so intelligent. So they just like us. They have different abilities. So you have some jinns that are very strong with their power, and they can possess you. They can use your physical body. Like I said, this physical body that you have is just a vehicle. It's not you. So they could jump in your vehicle and use it on this third dimension. And it might sound crazy, but it's real. I mean, I know everybody done heard stories about people being possessed, and I'm pretty sure you have seen people have that crazy look in their face, like that's not them. Like, what the hell? Like, they look empty. You gotta question this. We gotta question these things. And it's real. Like, this stuff is real, but people don't. They don't talk about these type of things on the news from day to day. They speak about the acts of what the jinns do, with all this violence. And, I think the media is part of the jinn's agenda, because what does the media does? It pumps out nothing but negativity, negative stories. Every time you watch the news, there's a negative story. It's rarely something positive that comes out of it. The only thing probably you get positive out the news is the weather. It's going to be sunny today. Oh, great. It's going to be a nice day tomorrow. That's it. Everything else is crime, killing, and that's the fear. This is why I don't watch the news. I rarely watch TV. I'm more of a movie person. So, it is what it is. So that's one of their abilities. They also, like I stated it in my other videos, they can manipulate your mind. They can manipulate your surroundings. Like they said, they could take forms. They could take forms of any person, and they could also manipulate your surrounding. So, like in my experience, I left my body. I was in these realms. I was actually in my bedroom, and it could turn my whole bedroom like if I was in a shopping mall. Like, they can change your surroundings, and this is how they try to stay hidden. And I had plenty of experiences that. Let me tell you something. Before I even go into these experiences, once I found out, because when I first started having these encounters with these shadow beings, I had one time. When I used to see these shadow beings when I was in my astral body, the thing is that once you separate, you can still be in your physical body, but you're separated. And I'm seeing with my astral eyes, and I'm in this realm, but I'm still laying down. And I used to see these shadow beings standing next to my bed. It's a very scary feeling. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was freaking petrified, man. My heart was racing. I was scared daylights. Like, I was scared, man. It was times that when I kept having these experiences, like I said, it would happen once a month, I would get anxiety. I would really get anxiety, because it's like I didn't know when it was going to happen and when I was going to experience these things. And I'm just like, damn, these fucking shadow beings, and it was crazy. I was afraid. I was really afraid. And this is what they were banking on. They were banking on my fear. They knew that I'm a very powerful entity. They know this. They can read your thoughts. Okay, this is how they manipulate your mind. They know your thoughts. They know what you're capable of. They know more about you than you know about yourself. That's how crazy it is. That's how powerful they are. And this is why I'm making these videos, to show you how powerful you are. And don't be afraid, because that's how I conquered them. Once I conquered my fear, I started kicking their asses. Straight up. Straight up. So, you know, like having these experiences, it was very hard for me. You know, and that's what they were doing. They were sucking up all the fear. There was times I'll come out my physical body, they would have their hands over me. Their hands over me. And I was so afraid I didn't even move. It was other times I couldn't move. Because like I explained about the paralysis, when the paralysis kicks in, you're like paralyzed. And that's what they were banking on. They were banking on that paralysis, because they knew once I separated, it was all game. It was going down. I'm gonna stop here. I'm gonna leave on this note. So this is question everything, dealing with shadow beings. So I'm gonna leave on this note because I don't want to give too much information. I'm definitely gonna make a part 2. I'm definitely gonna make a part 2 because this information has to get out. And on part 2, I'm gonna go into other, information, literature, articles, and stuff like that. Even my own experiences. And on part 2, I'm also going to speak about how to protect yourself and what to look for. And yeah, so like I said, you are more powerful than them. So I'm gonna leave on this note. Another video, question everything. It's your man. It's the entity. It's the God. Anpu Ra. 1.